Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Please subscribe to the channel and also please do like and share and leave your suggestions in the comment section. The events of 28 September 2024 are follows. Bengali date 11 Aশ্বিন 1431. As per Benimadhav Silk Ponjika, today's Tithi is Krishna Ekadashi and up to 1655 hours and after that Krishna Dadoshi. Today's Nakshatra, Pushpa Nakshatra and up to 0454 hours and after that Aslesha Nakshatra. Today is 272nd day of the year. There are then 94 days left in 2024. Today is 39th Saturday of 2024. Today is Indira Ekadashi. Parona means breaking the fast. Ekadashi Parona is done after sunrise on next day of Ekadashi fast. It is necessary to do Parona within Dadashi Tithi unless Dadashi is over before sunrise. Not doing Parona within Dadashi is similar to an offense. Parona should not be done during Harivasara. One should wait for Harivasara to get over before breaking the fast. Harivasara is first 1/4 duration of Dadashi Tithi. The most preferred time to break the fast is Protokal. One should avoid breaking the fast during Madhyana. If due to some reason one is not able to break the fast during Pratokal, then one should do it after Madhyana. At times, Ekadashi fasting is suggested on 2 consecutive days. It is advised that Smarth Sartho with family should observe fasting on first day only. Alternate Ekadashi fasting, which is the second one, is suggested for sannyasis, widows, and for those who want moksha. When alternate Ekadashi fasting is suggested for Martha, it coincides with Vaishnava Ekadashi fasting day. Ekadashi fasting on both days is suggested for staunch devotees who seek for love and affection of Lord Vishnu. Today is World Rabies Day. World Rabies Day is an international awareness campaign coordinated by the Global Alliance for Rabies Control, a non-profit organization with headquarters in the United States. It is a United Nations observance and has been endorsed by international human and veterinary health organizations such as the World Health Organization, the Pan American Health Organization, the World Organization for Animal Health, and the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. World Rabies Day takes place each year on September 28, the anniversary of the death of Louis Pasteur, who, with the collaboration of his colleagues, developed the first efficacious rabies vaccine. World Rabies Day aims to raise awareness about the impact of rabies on humans and animals, provide information and advice on how to prevent the disease in at-risk communities, and support advocacy for increased efforts in rabies control. Today is International Day for Universal Access to Information. The International Day for Universal Access to Information (IDUAI) was proclaimed on 15th October 2019 at the 74th UN General Assembly to be held on 28th September. Initially, the day, commonly called the Access to Information Day, was designated by the UNESCO General Conference. It was inaugurated in November 2015 and was first held on 28th September 2016. The day had been recognized as International Right to Know Day since 2002 and was developed by international civil society advocates beginning in 2012. UNESCO's resolution creating the day was pushed by African civil society groups seeking greater information transparency. Currently, only 17 African Union member states have adopted national right to information laws. Groups like Open Government Partnership hope that the recognition of the right to information will provide an important platform for all stakeholders at national level to discuss the adoption effective implementation of national right to information laws in line with continental and international standards and obligations. Today is International Day for Universal Access to Information. However, African civil society groups like MISA Zimbabwe have noted that states like Zimbabwe, which do have right to information laws, still have a long way to go to ensure they improve governance. In 2016, MISA Zimbabwe used Access to Information Day to criticize Zimbabwe's poor information transparency provisions, noting that while Zimbabwe was one of the first African countries to adopt an access to information law in the form of the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act (AIPPA), the law in question is a far cry from its purport and impact. Today is National Science Day. National Science Day is mostly celebrated on September 28. However, there is some debate around the date for National Science Day. Since 2018, many also recognize March 4th as the official National Science Day. Whichever date you choose, the main thing to remember is that it is a day to show appreciation for the boys in our lives and for the parents of boys to reflect on how they are raising their children. All any parent wants is for their children to grow up into people they can be proud of. Boys especially need strong role models to look up to who will help them grow into confident, disciplined, and emphatic adult men. National Science Day is a day to ensure that boys all over the country are getting the foundations, education, and all the support they need to have the best possible life as they grow up. Today is International Rabbit Day. International Rabbit Day is celebrated on the fourth Saturday of September each year. It's a day to celebrate rabbits, raise awareness about their welfare, and show compassion for them. Here are some ways to celebrate International Rabbit Day. Learn about rabbits. If you are a new rabbit owner, you can learn about how to care for your rabbit, including housing, exercise, diet, and veterinary care. Volunteer at a rescue shelter. If you are not ready to adopt a rabbit, you can volunteer at a local rescue shelter to spend time with them and make a positive difference in their lives. Donate to a rescue shelter. You can donate to support the work of a rescue shelter. International Rabbit Day was first celebrated in the UK in 1998 and then spread to Australia and rest of the world. Today is California discovered. Explorer Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo, known as the discoverer of California, landed this day in 1542 near what is now San Diego and became the first European to set foot on the west coast of what would become the United States. Today is birth anniversary of Rani Rasmani, 28 September 1793 to 19 February 1861. Rasmani Das, popularly known as Lokmata Rani Rasmani, also spelled as Rani Rasmani, was an Indian businesswoman, entrepreneur, zamindar, philanthropist, and the founder of the Dakshineshwar Kali Temple in Kolkata. She remained closely associated with Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa after she appointed him as the priest of the Dakshineshwar Temple. He was also one of the earliest social reformers in early 19th century Bengal and was one of the forerunners of the Bengal Renaissance. Besides, he also led many of the resistances against the encroaching British administration and their presence in all walks of colonial society in the Bengal province. Her other construction works include the construction of a road from Subarnarekha River to Puri for the pilgrims. Babu Ghat, also known as the Baburaj Chandra Das Ghat, Ahiritola Ghat, and Nimtola Ghat, for the everyday bathers at the Ganges. He also offered considerable charity to the Imperial Library, now the National Library of India, and the Hindu College, now Presidency University. Presently, the Lokmata Rani Rasmani Mission is situated at Nimpit, South Chব্বিশ Pargana, West Bengal, 74 3 3 3 8, 3 3 3 8, India. 743338, 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 India. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Louis Pasteur, 27 December 1822 to 28 September 1895. Louis Pasteur was a French chemist, pharmacist, and microbiologist renowned for his discoveries of the principles of vaccination, microbial fermentation, and pasteurization, the last of which was named after him. His research in chemistry led to remarkable breakthroughs in the understanding of the causes and preventions of diseases, which laid down the foundations of hygiene, public health, and much of modern medicine. Pasteur's works are credited with saving millions of lives through the developments of vaccines for rabies and anthrax. He is regarded as one of the founders of modern bacteriology and has been honored as the father of bacteriology and the father of microbiology, together with Robert Koch, the latter epithet also attributed to Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Pasteur was responsible for disproving the doctrine of spontaneous generation. Under the auspices of the French Academy of Sciences, his experiment demonstrated that in sterilized and sealed flasks, nothing ever developed. Conversely, in sterilized but open flasks, microorganisms could grow. For this experiment, the Academy awarded him the Lombard Prize, carrying 2,500 francs in 1862. Pasteur is also regarded as one of the fathers of germ theory of diseases, which was a minor medical concept at that time. His many experiments showed that diseases could be prevented by killing or stopping germs, thereby directly supporting the germ theory and its applications in clinical medicine. He is best known to the general public for his invention of the technique of treating milk and wine to stop bacterial contamination, a process now called sterilization. Pasteur also made significant discoveries in chemistry, most notably on the molecular basis for the asymmetry of certain crystals and racemization. Early in his career, his investigation of sodium ammonium tartrate initiated the field of optical isomerism. This work had a profound effect on structural chemistry with eventual implications for many areas including medicinal chemistry. He was the director of the Pasteur Institute established in 1887 until his death, and his body was interred in a vault beneath the institute. Although the Pasteur made groundbreaking experiments, his reputation became associated with various controversies. Historical reassessment of his notebook revealed that he practiced deception to overcome his rivals. Today is birth anniversary of Sai Baba of Siddhi, 28 September 1835 to 15th October 1918. Sai Baba of Siddhi, also known as Siddhi Sai Baba, was an Indian spiritual master and fakir considered to be a saint, revered by both Hindu and Muslim devotees during and after his lifeline. According to accounts from his life, Sai Baba preached the importance of realization of the self and criticized love towards perishable things. His teachings concentrated on a moral code of love, forgiveness, helping others, charity, contentment, inner peace, and devotion of God and Guru. Sai Baba condemned discrimination based on religion or caste. He had both Hindu and Muslim followers, but when pressed on his own religious affiliations, he refused to identify himself with one to the exclusion of the other. His teachings combined elements of Hinduism and Islam. He gave the Hindu name Dwarokamui to the mosque in which he lived, practiced both Hindu and Muslim rituals, and taught using words and figures that draw from both traditions. According to the Sri Sai Satcharita, a hagiography written shortly after his death, his Hindu devotees believed him to be an incarnation of the Hindu deity Dattatreya. Today is birth anniversary of Mr. Ferdinand Frederick Henry Moissan, 28 September 1952 to 20th February 1907. Ferdinand Frederick Henry Moissan was a French chemist and pharmacist who won the 1906 Nobel Prize in chemistry for his work in isolating fluorine from its compounds. Moisan was one of the original members of the International Atomic Weights Committee. Henry Moisan discovered fluorine while working out of a laboratory at the Sorbonne. The Sorbonne is a prestigious university in the French city of Paris. Henry Moisan was able to isolate fluorine by electrolyzing potassium hydrogen difluoride in hydrogen fluoride at very low temperature. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Edwin Hubble, 20th November 1889 to 28th September 1953. Edwin Powell Hubble was an American astronomer. He played a crucial role in establishing the fields of extragalactic astronomy and observational cosmology. Hubble proved that many objects previously thought to be clouds of dust and gas and classified as nebulae were actually galaxies beyond the Milky Way. He used the strong direct relationship between a classical Cepheid variables luminosity and pulsation period, discovered in 1908 by Henrietta Swan Leavitt for scaling galactic and extragalactic distances. Hubble confirmed in 1929 that the recessional velocity of a galaxy increases with its distance from Earth, a behavior that became known as Hubble's law. Although it had been proposed 2 years earlier by George Lemaitre, the Hubble law implies that the universe is expanding. A decade before, the American astronomer Vestus Slipher had provided the first evidence that the light from many of these nebulae was strongly red-shifted, indicative of a high recession velocity. Hubble's name is most widely recognized for the Hubble Space Telescope, which was named in his honor, with a model prominently displayed in his hometown of Marshfield, Missouri. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Mulk Raj Anand, 12 December 1905 to 28 September 2004. Mulk Raj Anand was an Indian writer in English, recognized for his depiction of the lives of poorer class in traditional Indian society. One of the pioneers of Indo-Anglian fiction, who together with R.K. Narayanan, Ahmed Ali, and Raja Rao, was one of the first India-based writers in English to gain an international readership. Anand is admired for his novels and short stories, which have acquired the status of classics of modern Indian English literature. They are noted for their perspective, perceptive insight into the lives of the oppressed and for their analysis of improvement, exploitation, and misfortune. He became known for his protest novel Untouchable 1935, which was followed by other works of the Indian poets such as Coolie 1936, The Two Leaves, and A Bard 1937. He is also noted for being among the first writers to incorporate Punjabi and Hindustani idioms into English and was the recipient of the civilian honor of the Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award in the Republic of India. Today is birth anniversary of Shahid Bhagat Singh, 28 September 1907 to 23rd March 1931. Bhagat Singh was an Indian anti-colonial revolutionary who participated in the mistaken murder of a junior British police officer in December 1928 in what was to be retaliation for the death of an Indian nationalist. He later took part in a largely symbolic bombing of the Central Legislative Assembly in Delhi and a hunger strike in jail, which on the back of sympathetic coverage in India-owned newspapers turned him into a household name in the Punjab region, and after his execution at age 23 into a martyr and folk hero in northern India, borrowing ideas from Bolshevism and anarchism. The charismatic single electrified growing militancy in India in the 1930s and prompted urgent introspection within the Indian National Congress, non-violent but eventually a successful campaign for India's independence. In December 1928, Bhagat Singh and associate Shivaram Rajaguru, both members of a small revolutionary group, the Hindustan Socialist Republican, Association, also Army or HSRA, shot dead by 21-year-old British police officer John Saunders. In Lahore, Punjab, in what till today Pakistan, mistaking Saunders, who was still on probation, for the British senior police superintendent James Scott, whom they had intended to assassinate. They held Scott responsible for the death of the popular Indian nationalist leader Lala Lajpat Rai for having ordered a lathi charge in which Rai was injured and 2 weeks thereafter died of a heart attack. As Saunders exited a police station on a motorcycle, he was felled by a single bullet fired from across the street by Rajguru, a marksman. As he lay injured, he was shot at close range several times by Singh, the postmortem report showing 8 bullet wounds. Another associated of Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, shot dead an Indian police head constable Chandan Singh, who attempted to give chase as Singh and Rajguru fled. After having escaped, Bhagat Singh and his association used pseudonyms to publicly announcing avenging Lajpat Rai's death, putting up prepared posters that they had altered to show John Saunders as their intended target instead of James Scott. Singh was thereafter on the run for many months and no convictions resulted at the time. Surfacing again in April 1929, he and another associated Madhukar Dutt set up two low-intensity homemade bombs among some unoccupied branches of the Central Legislative Assembly in Delhi. They showered leaflets from the gallery on the legislators below, shouted or slogans, and allowed the authorities to arrest them. The arrest and the resulting publicity brought to the light Singh's complicity in the John Saunders case. Awaiting trial, Singh gained public sympathy after he joined fellow defendant Jatin Das in a hunger strike, demanding better prison conditions for Indian prisoners, and the strike ending in Das's death from starvation in September 1929. Bhagat Singh was convicted of the murder of John Saunders and Chandan Singh and hanged in March 1931, aged 23. He became a popular folk hero after his death. Jawaharlal Nehru wrote about him. Bhagat Singh did not become popular because of his act of terrorism, but because he seemed to vindicate, for the moment, the honor of Lala Lajpat Rai and through him the nation. He became a symbol, the act was forgotten, the symbol remained. And within a few months, each town and village of the Punjab, and to a lesser extent the rest of the northern India, resounded with his name. Still later years, seeing an atheist and socialist in adulthood, own admirers in India from among a political spectrum that included both communists and right-wing Hindu nationalists. Although many of Singh's associates, as well as many Indian anti-colonial revolutionaries, were also involved in daring acts and were either executed or died violent deaths, few came to be lionized in popular art and literature as did Singh, who is sometimes referred to as the Sahid-e-Azam, great martyr in Urdu and Punjabi. Today is birth anniversary of Miss Saraswati Goda, 28 September 1912 to 19 August 2006. Miss Saraswati Goda was an Indian social activist who served as leader of the Atheist Center for many years, campaigning against untouchability and the caste system. Participated in the Quit India movement, suffered imprisonment, has been a social change worker on Gandhian lines, co-founder of Atheist Center 1940, has been in the forefront of the eradication of untouchability caste system, guided the Atheist Center for a broad spectrum of activities through its three major organizations, Basabha Mahila Mandal, Arthik Samata Mandal, and Samaskar for comprehensive rural development in more than 300 villages in various districts of Andhra Pradesh. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Simpson Perez, 2nd August 1923 to 28th September 2016. Shimon Peres was an Israeli politician and statesman who served as the eighth Prime Minister of Israel from 1984 to 1986, then from 1995 to 1996, and as the ninth President of Israel from 2007 to 2014. He was a member of 12 cabinets and represented the five political parties in a political career spanning 70 years. Peres was elected to the Knesset in November 1959 and, except for 3 months out of office in early 2006, served as a member of the Knesset continuously until he was elected president in 2007, serving in the Knesset for 48 years, with the first uninterrupted stretch lasting more than 46 years. Peres is the longest serving member in the Knesset's history. At the time of his retirement from politics in 2014, he was the world's oldest and head of state and was considered the last link to Israel's founding generation. For a young age, he was renowned for his oratorical brilliance and was chosen as a protege by David Ben Gurion, Israel's founding father. He began his political career in the late 1940s, holding several diplomatic and military positions during and directly after the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. His first high-level government position was as Deputy Director General of Defense in 1952, which he attained at the age of 28, and Director General from 1953 until 1959. In 1956, he took part in the historic negotiations on the Protocol of Sevres, which was described by British Prime Minister Anthony Eden as the highest form of statesman. In 1963, he held negotiations with US President John F. Kennedy, which resulted in the sale of Hawk anti-aircraft missiles to Israel. The first sale of US military equipment to Israel. Peres represented Mapal, Rafi, the alignment, Labour and Kadima in the Knesset and led alignment and Labour. Today is death anniversary of Mr. Simon Peres, 2nd August 1923 to 28 September 2016. Peres first succeeded Yitzhak Rabin as acting Prime Minister briefly during 1977, before becoming Prime Minister from 1984 to 1986. As Foreign Minister under Prime Minister Rabin, Peres engineered the 1994 Israel-Jordan Peace Treaty and won the 1994 Nobel Peace Prize together with Rabin and Yasser Arafat for the Oslo Accords peace talks with the Palestinian leadership. In 1996, he founded the Press Center for Peace, which has the aim of promoting lasting peace and advancement in the Middle East by fostering tolerance, economic and technological development, cooperation and well-being. After suffering a stroke, Peres died in 2016 near Tel Aviv. Today is birth anniversary of Miss Lata Mangeshkar, 28 September 1929 to 6 February 2022. Lata Mangeshkar was an Indian playback singer and occasional music composer. She is considered to be one of the greatest and most influential singers of the Indian subcontinent. Her voice was one of the unifying elements of the people of India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Her contribution to the Indian music industry in a career spanning 8 decades gained her honorific titles such as the Queen of Melody, Nightingale of India, and Voice of the Millennium. Mangeshkar recorded songs in over 36 Indian languages and a few foreign languages, though primarily in Hindi, Bengali, and Marathi. She received several accolades and honors throughout her career. In 1989, the Dadasaheb Phalke Award was bestowed on her by the Government of India. In 2001, in recognition of her contributions to the nation, she was awarded the Bharat Ratna, becoming only the second singer to receive India's highest civilian honor in 2007. France made her an officer of the National Order of the Legion of Honor, the country's highest civilian award. He was the recipient of 3 National Film Awards, 15 Bengal Film Journalists Association Awards, 4 Filmfare Best Female Playback Awards, before declining further ones to Filmfare Special Awards, the Filmfare Lifetime Achievement Award amongst others. In 1974, she became the first Indian playback singer to perform at the Royal Albert Hall in London, England. She appeared in the Guinness World Records as the most recorded artist in history before being replaced by her sister Asa Vosley. 1924, first flight around the world. On April 6, 1924, Fort Douglas World cruisers and 8 crewmen set out from Seattle, Washington to attempt a first round-the-world airplane flight. Some 175 days later, on September 25, 3 of the biplanes and the 6 men aboard became the first to circumnavigate the Earth by air. 1961, dissolution of the United Arab Republic. In the process, the strongly centralized Egyptian state imposed Nasser's socialistic political and economic system on weaker Syria, creating a backlash from the Syrian business and the army circles, which resulted in the Syrian coup of September 28, 1961, and the end of the UAR. 1980, Carl Sagan's Cosmos, a personal voyage makes its debut. The widely popular 13th episode science television documentary series was broadcast on public broadcasting service. It was presented by astronomer Carl Sagan and written by Andrew Sagan and Stephen Sutter. It was and remains one of the most watched science-based TV documentaries. 1995, Israel and PLO signed the Oslo II Accords. The interim agreement on the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, also known as the Taba Agreement, divided Gaza and the West Bank into 3 areas and gave limited control over some of these areas to the Palestinians. The account, which was signed by Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin and PLO Chairman Yasser Arafat, also called for Palestinian elections. 2008, Falcon 1 is launched. Falcon 1 was a small lift launch vehicle that was operated from 2006 to 2009 by SpaceX, an American aerospace manufacturer. On September 28, 2008, Falcon 1 became the first privately developed fully liquid fuel launch vehicle to go into the orbit around the world. Today, that is 28 September, highlight in history. 1779, American Revolution. Samuel Huntington is elected President of the Continental Congress, succeeding John Ray Jay. 1781, American Revolution. French-American forces, backed by French fleet, begin the siege of Yorktown. 1787, the Congress of the Confederation notes to send the newly written United States constitutions to the state legislature for approval. 1821, the Declaration of Independence of the Mexican Emperor is drafted. It will be made public on 13th October. 1844, Oscar I of Sweden Norway is crowned King of Sweden. 1862, the Second Battle of Bull Run, also known as Second Manassas, began in Prince William County, Virginia during the Civil War. The result was a Confederate victory. 1867, Toronto becomes the capital of Ontario, having also been the capital of Ontario's predecessors since 1796. 1868, the Battle of Alcolia causes Queen Isabella II of Spain to flee to France. 1871, the Brazilian parliament passes a bill that frees all children thereafter torn to slaves and to government-owned slaves. At 1889, the General Conference on Weights and Measures (CGPM) defines its length of a meter. 1892, the first night game for American football takes place in a contest between Wyoming Seminole and Mansfield State Normal. 1901, Philippine-American War. Filipino guerrillas killed more than 40 American soldiers while losing 28 of their own. 1912, the Ulster Covenant is signed by some 5 lakh Ulster Protestant Unionists in opposition to the Third Irish Home Rule Bill. 1912, Corporal Frank S. Scott of the United States Army becomes the first listed man to die in an airplane crash. 1918, World War One, the Fifth Battle of Ypres begins. 1919, race riots begin in Omaha, Nebraska, United States. 1922, the first ever radio commercial aired on a station WEAF in New York City. The 10-minute advertisement was for the Queensboro Healthy Company, which has paid a fee of $100. 1924, the first aerial circumnavigation is completed by a team from the US Army. 1928, Alexander Fleming notices a bacteria killing mold growing in his laboratory, discovering what later became known as penicillin. 1939, World War II, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union agree on a television on Poland. 1939, World War II, the siege of Warsaw comes to an end. 1941, World War II, the drama uprising against the Bulgarian occupation in northern Greece begins. 1941, Ted Williams achieves a .406 batting average for the season and becomes the last Major League Baseball player to that .400 or better. 1941, Japan's ambassador to the US, Kichisamura Nomura, presented a note to President Franklin D. Roosevelt from Japan's Prime Minister Prince Fumimaro Konoe, expressing a desire for improving relations. 1944, World War II, Soviet Army troops liberate Logar's concentration camp in Stanoia. 1951, CBS makes the first color television available for sale to the general public, but the product is discontinued less than a month later. 1955, Emmett Till, a black teen from Chicago, was abducted from his uncle's home in Money, Mississippi by two white men. After he had supposedly whistled at a white woman, he was found brutally slain 3 days later. 1961, a military coup in Damascus effectively ends the United States Arab Republic, the union between Egypt and Syria. 1968, police and anti-war demonstrators clashes in the streets of Chicago as the Democratic National Convention nominated Howard H. Humphrey for president. 1970, Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser dies of a heart attack in Cairo. 1973, the IIT building in New York City is bombed at protest at IIT's aggregate involvement in the COP defeat in Chile. 1975, the Spaghetti House siege in which 9 people are taken hostages takes place in London. 1986, Democratic Progressive Party becomes the first opposition party in Taiwan. 1988, 70 people were killed when 3 Italian stunt planes collided during an air show at the US Airways in Ramstein, Stein, West Germany. 1992, a Pakistani international airline flight crashes into a hill in Nepal, killing all 67 passengers and crew. 1994, the cruise ferry MS Estonia sinks in the Baltic Sea, killing 852 people. 1995, Dinard and a group of mercenaries takes the islands of the Comoros in a coup. 1995, Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin placed Karachi, Chairman Yasser Arafat signed the interim agreement on the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. 1996, the troubled 15-year marriage of Britain's Prince Charles and Princess Diana officially ended with the ensuing of a divorce decree. 2000, Al-Aqsa Intifada. Ariel Sharon visits Al-Aqsa mosque known to Jews as the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. 2005, New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin ordered everyone in the city to evacuate after Hurricane Katrina grew to a monster storm. 2008, Falcon 1 becomes the first privately developed liquor fuel ground-launched vehicle to put a payload into orbit by the RATSAT mission. 2008, Singapore Grand Prix is held as Formula One's inaugural night race with Fernando Alonso winning the event. Almost a year later, it was revealed that Alonso's teammate Nelson Piquet Jr. had been ordered to crash his car to help during out the safety car and give Alonso the advantage and win. 2009, the military jumped the leading Guinness records of protest rally, killing or wounding 1,400 people. 2012, Somali and African Union forces launched a coordinated assault on the Somali part of Kisumu to take back the city from Al-Shabaab militants. 2012, Sita Air Flight 600 WAC crashes in Madhya Pradesh, Nepal, killing all 19 passengers and crew. 2013, a military jury sentenced Major Nidalus Hassan to death for the 2009 shooting rampage at Fort Head that claimed 13 lives. On the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial, President Barack Obama stood on the same steps as he challenged the new generation to seize the cause of racial equality. 2014, 2014 Hong Kong protests begin in response to restrictive political reforms imposed by the NPC in Beijing. 2016, the 2016 South Australian blackout occurs, lasting up to 3 days in some areas. 2016, six scientists complete a year-long Mars simulation to Hawaii, where they emerged after living in a dome in near Crescent on a Mauna Loa mountain. 2018, the 7.5 megawatt 2018 Suarez earthquake which triggered a large tsunami leaves 4,340 humanity 10,679 injured. 2018, a white former police officer, Roy Oliver, was convicted of murder for fatally shooting a black 15-year-old boy, Jordan Edwards, while firing into a car parked with teenagers in suburban Dallas. Oliver was sentenced the following day to 15 years in prison. 2020, Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said he was stepping down because a chronic illness had resurfaced. Abe was succeeded by his right-hand man Yoshihide Suga. Abe was assassinated in July 2022. 2023, the 2023 Rotterdam shootings occurred during which two people were killed in a shooting and arson incident at residence in Delft, Rotterdam. Additionally, one person lost their life in a classroom at Erasmus University Medical Center. Thank you very much for your patience.